Next Bank versus Earl Thomas and Nina Thomas.
This is an eviction post foreclosure. The foreclosure took place on November the 4th, 2025. My client purchased that property for $1,069,104. According to the deed of trust that was foreclosed, the tenants or the occupants became tenants at severance upon foreclosure. We sent a notice to vacate on December 31st, 2025. That was a 3-day notice to vacate. We're seeking possession of the property only. We're not seeking any back rent or attorney's fees.
You're not entitled to it because
Nope.
of the foreclosure. I'll also highlight, Mr. Wolfshall, not so much for you, but for people who might be observing our docket to prepare themselves. This case does not fall under the things I've been giving about notice to vacate, and that is because it is not about non-payment at all. This one is wholly about a failure to surrender due to foreclosure. So that is why I'm not worried about if there was a pay to vacate, because there is no opportunity. In this case, you would not be entitled to payment. It is a foreclosure. So I know you know that, Mr. Wolfshall. I'm just highlighting that for parties that may listen and go, hey, how come she didn't ask about that? Because that's not a factor in this type of case. All right, then. Mr. Wolfshall, I'm curious. Were the Thomases tenants or were they the original owners?
My understanding is they were the original owners.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Thomas. Thank you for being here. I understand Mr. Thomas can't make it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Wolfshall says that this case is not in one at all about money. It is solely about possession.
Correct.
The property was purchased through an auction, and that Mr. Wolfshall represents the new owners, which is Next Bank. And that's about it. Is that all accurate, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, it's going to be a judgment for the plaintiff. You and Mr. Thomas, if you're still in possession, you have at least 5 days to appeal, and that's that calendar day thing. Because this is a case involving a foreclosure, it's not standard in that I don't have any rent to use. I do have to determine an appeal bond, though. Mr. Wolfshall, I'm curious. Ms. Thomas, I'm going to let you respond too. Mr. Wolfshall, do you have any sense of what an average rent would be or a standard mortgage monthly payment for a home of this size?
Your Honor, for $1 million loan at 6%, the monthly payment would be about $5,000. I don't know what a rental rate for this piece of property would be, so I'll take whatever the court wants to put as a bond is fine with me.
I appreciate that. Ms. Thomas, I'm curious, was your mortgage substantially smaller than that?
Our mortgage to begin with was about $4,200.
All right. We'll go with $4,000 on the appeal. That seems reasonable for both sides. And same thing applies.
Yes,
if you want to appeal but you can't afford it, you can qualify for an affidavit. But yeah, I know. All right. Well, thank y'all both. Very, very best of luck. Ms. Thomas, best of luck to you and to Mr. Thomas. Mr. Wolfshall, thank you. All parties are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. You
Bye-bye.
both. Also, Mr. Rogers, why is this case being sought?
Your Honor, this is an eviction for non-payment of the rent. There's a lease calling for monthly rent in the amount of $2,450. The tenant has been behind in the rent every month beginning in July of 2025. Tenant was given a notice to pay or quit December 5th, and then after that was served with a notice to vacate.
Oh.
At this point, Your Honor, just the unpaid rent, no late fees, with rent prorated through today, the amount owed is $10,600.
Is that because you said she'd been late every month? Has she not paid since July?
She made well, after July, she's never had a zero balance. She made a payment on October 10th and on December 12th. So she made payments at those times, but that was not enough to clear her balance. The last time she made a payment was October 10th.
Okay. All right. We did receive back the return of service. Deputy Hobbs effected alternate service, attached a copy and mailed it and returned that to the court. We've had that on file since the 29th. Right. In addition to back rent, are you seeking anything for your time today?
We're asking for, not for my time, Your Honor, but for post-judgment interest, possession, and court cost.
Okay, we would give you your cost of court and the $10,600. 2 final questions. How was the notice to vacate delivered, the original one?
The notice to vacate or the notice to pay or quit?
Pay or
both.
quit?
The notice to pay or quit was hand delivered and first class mail.
Okay.
And the notice.
The first case is straightforward but emotional. After a foreclosure, the court isn't deciding who deserves the house, it's only deciding who has the legal right to possess it. Even though the Thomases were the original homeowners, once the foreclosure was completed, the new owner gained the right to seek possession. It's a difficult reminder that foreclosure cases often leave judges with very little discretion.
To vacate was sent by priority mail, and that one was delivered. It was sent on December 11th, and it was received on December 15th.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you. I see that your Miller affidavit looks great, as is the sworn statement and the SCRA. Judgment for the plaintiff, $10,600 plus all cost on appeal. I'm just gonna double it. I realize it's been a long time, but that's still gonna be half of the outstanding balance. That's pretty sizable chunk for anybody. So I think putting it at 4,900 is a reasonable appeal bond for that. All right.
Fair enough, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Any other matters today?
No, Your Honor, that is it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon. All parties are excused. And Ms. Clarkos, why was this eviction filed?
This is failure to pay rent. Rent is $14.65 a month. She owes $601.13 for November, the full amount for December and January, and the prorate amount for February, for a total of $4,158.98 in back rent through today. A notice to vacate, along with the notice with the option, a notice to pay, was given on December 8th. It was a 3-day notice. It was placed on the inside of her door. There's no government subsidy, and we're seeking back rent, court costs, and possession.
Good afternoon, Ms. Carter. Thank you for being here. Ms. Clarkos says that this case is one related solely to finances. So my first question is it accurate that the flat monthly rent is $1,465?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then she says that a partial payment was made in November, so there's a balance outstanding, but that December, January, and February have not been paid. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
All right. Well, Ms. Carter, with that information, the landlord wins their case today. But I always want to give you a chance to respond or share information. Certainly, I want to give you an appeal amount, and then any questions you have about the deadline, I can answer those for you. Right now, are there any questions or information that you have?
Yes, I tried to pay the $1,800, but they locked me out of the account. And I made the money orders to go and pay it, but then she said it has to be in full, so they couldn't accept it. In December, the beginning of December, I was in a domestic violence situation, and I have 4 kids. And I let them know that he took my cards and transferred all the money on my account, which he did get arrested and a restraining order. So that caused me to lose my job. And in trying to balance the kids and stuff, I just fell behind. I'm currently working now, but because they won't accept it, unless it's the full amount, I'm still kind of behind. Yeah, so that was that. In December, I did call them and asked if I could have a copy of the eviction so I can have a case, because I was seeking government-like assistance to help with the eviction, and I needed a case number, but they didn't give me this, like the full eviction, until the 21st of January. So I did apply for it, but now it's just taking time to get that assistance, given that it was given to me late without the document number.
Ms. Carter, when you were served with the eviction, did you receive the citation packet?
Yes, that was on January 21st.
Okay. You know that if you ever receive a citation like that, or of any type of lawsuit, hopefully not this type again, Ms. Carter, you contact the court. We will always provide you with a copy of what the plaintiff filed.
Okay.
Right, just keep FYI information. All right, well, Ms. Carter, I'm sorry you've gone. It sounds like you've had quite a few things happening to you. I hope you find yourself very quickly in a better situation. I understand that this is an unpleasantness to deal with. I'll give you some information, and then certainly if you've worked with legal aid, contact them today or tomorrow and let them know that today you did have an eviction and was judgment for the plaintiff. That may speed up their ability to help you or open up some other possibilities for you, okay?
Okay.
Today, the amount is going to be the $4,158. And as I said to a previous person, that will be a different number than you may get in the final ledger, but that is what is allowed in courts. That's just the partial from November that remains, all December, all January, and then 12 days for February. If you wanted to appeal this, you absolutely can do so, as can the plaintiff. You have 5 days to appeal, beginning tomorrow. Because this is from November, I would put the appeal bond at $2,930. That's twice the monthly rent. And Ms. Carter, as you've explained here, if you are having financial difficulties and want to appeal, you may be eligible to do that for free, but you do have to pay rent to stay there. And also, if you have a restraining order against someone you were once in a housing situation with, maybe contact legal aid and ask questions.
Okay.
But Ms. Carter, you have at least 5 more days beginning tomorrow before the landlord can legally make you move. All right?
Okay.
Very best of luck to you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All parties are excused. Ms. Cargos, why was this eviction filed?
This is failure to pay rent, but it looks like from the notice to vacate that I got, it doesn't have notice to pay on this
Ah.
one.
Okay, kind of getting stuck in that. Again, I'll just say for all parties who are listening to this, we are in kind of the first month and a half of these new law changes. Quite likely, we're going to have many of these sort of, well, we're going to have a lot of these, but it'll probably reverse out. All right, Ms. Carco, so you can see immediately the notice to vacate is just a straight notice to vacate. There's no pay option in it. Yep.
Correct. I'm not seeing a pay option in it.
Okay. Mr. Fitzpatrick, thank you for coming today. Ms. Carcos has identified what would be a defection in the case on behalf of the plaintiff. She'd like me to go ahead and find in your favor, meaning that her client has the right to appeal. They can also redo the case, give you a new notice to vacate, or if you've moved, maybe no action takes place at all. Do you have any
Okay, I'll
questions for
just
me, Mr.
wait for
Fitzpatrick?
moving, sir.
All right.
You say what?
Oh, no, did you have any questions for me?
No, the only thing is, when I did try to pay for this, they locked me out of the pay system. Now you get paid every 2 weeks. I would give part of it back. I'm just waiting to get a rental truck today and everything and get this all squashed in a professional manner.
Okay, Mr. Fitzpatrick, best of luck to you. Then that's not uncommon. I have a lot of parties, and for many various reasons, it's such that once payment is late, sometimes they won't accept any or they won't accept partial. But for today, you're all excused. If neither party appeals, the case becomes
I
moot.
do have one question though. Will this go on my record or no?
Mr. Fitzpatrick, I'll give you some general information and then you may wish to contact credit about it. I'll say this. There is a record in the court that a lawsuit was filed for an eviction, and there will be a record if someone looks into it that the case was found in your favor.
Okay.
Now that is completely different than a credit report, right? So whether or not you're reported for an unpaid amount is something you should talk to your landlord about. But today the record will reflect that a case was filed and that it was found in your favor.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. Good luck to everyone. I put the appeal bond, Ms. Carcos, at $250 for that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Just moving along.
This is failure to pay rent. Rent is $18.37 a month. He owes December through the prorate of February for a total of $4,461.28. And back rent through today. A 5-day notice to vacate was placed on his front door and mailed on December 8th. This does have a notice to pay option. We're seeking back rent, court cost, and possession, and there's no subsidy.
Yes.
Okay. Well, 5-day no subsidy. You got it. All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Lopez. Ms. Carcos is here. She represents a group called Nationwide, and that's often hired by a landlord to represent them today in court. She says
Okay.
the case was about non-payment, and she said that
Yes,
the flat monthly rent is $1,837. Is that
that's correct.
All right. And then she said rent for December, January, and February are still unpaid. Is that accurate?
Yes, due to that is when I used to work I got laid off by the government shutdown.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I got hit really hard.
Yeah.
And then I tried to get back on my feet, and then I barely got this job. I started a month, and my income tax, it's in February.
Yeah.
End of February, so I'm gonna pay everything in February. So it's like if I could hold off to end of February, I'll pay it off because I'm getting a big chunk amount, and I'm also dealing with CPS case right now.
All right.
You know,
Mr. Lopez,
I had
I
to pay lower.
recognize sometimes this situation is difficult. It sounds like you got a lot of expenses, but right now money is just sort of tight for you. I'm glad you found new work.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
I just need I'm just waiting for my income tax so I can catch up on my bills.
All right, well, I can give you some information today, and then that may help you figure out kind of where to put your resources in the short term or what steps to take next, all right?
Okay.
What I don't hear, Mr. Lopez, is it correct that December, January, and February remain unpaid? Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
All
That's
right.
when I lost my job due to government shutdown.
Yep, I understand. I do.
So I'm
Frustrating.
back at doing construction. You know, I didn't want to do construction, so I'm back doing construction again.
Well, Mr. Lopez, it's a testament that you went right back out and found yourself something, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's determination.
You know, I had to get my truck up too because I couldn't afford it.
All right.
You know, I had to, I got hit hard.
Well, today the judgment is, so here's some distinctions. Today, it's a judgment for the plaintiff. The amount that I would put on the judgment is for $4,461. Now that's a different amount than the landlord would give you on a bill, or if you wanted to, like, let's say you magically found money or hit the lotto or something great happened. If you
Yes,
wanted to
ma'am.
go pay, they're going to have a different number for you because their number can include late fees, utilities, cleaning, any of the things that your lease says you have to pay, that bill will include. In court for an eviction, the court is only allowed to award actual rent. That's in the statute, okay? So the amount today is going to be even less. It's not all 3 months. Ms. Carcos has only asked me to provide 12 days out of 28. So that's why the number is 4461. Now you have 5 days beginning tomorrow. Do not include today. You have 5 days beginning tomorrow is day 1, and it's 5 calendar days. Okay, so don't skip any days,
Okay.
Mr. Lopez. If you don't appeal within that 5 days, on day 6, that's the soonest the landlord can receive what's known as the writ of possession, and that legally allows them to come in and remove you and your items if you have not already done so. All right.
Okay, so I got 5 days after tomorrow.
Tomorrow is day 1, and you have 5 days, and on day 6 is the day the landlord can get a writ from me, and then it's served to you. All right.
Okay.
Now, in that 5 days, you can appeal. To appeal your case, it would cost $1,837. That's 1 month of rent. If parties wish to appeal, but you don't have that money, you might qualify to appeal with what's called an affidavit of inability. And we send this information to you, to any defendant and any plaintiff in an eviction. We just send this out automatically, okay?
Okay.
If you appeal, though, and you want to stay in the apartment, you have to pay the rent of $1,837, but you pay that to the court, and we'll give you a very specific deadline for that. All right?
Okay.
If you don't do
Okay,
anything,
thank you so
though, you have at least 5 more days beginning tomorrow.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Lopez. I really appreciate it. You're all excused.
Thank you.
Thank you both. And Ms. Carcos, thank you. I see the notice to vacate actually, it's underlined the option to pay on that one, so that was fun. All right.
This is in regards for a non-payment for January. The base rent amount is $2,545. The 4-day notice to vacate was placed on the outside of the door on January 12th. And then the prorated amount for February is going to be $1,090.71.
All right, was the notice to vacate, notice to pay or vacate?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. It was the notice to pay or vacate. That is correct.
Yep, okay. And you said it was January and partial for February, so the total amount was?
Sorry, I'm gonna have to add that. But the base rent is $2,545, and then plus the prorated amount for February.
I got 1090.
Yeah, so that's gonna be 3,600.
This hearing shows that not every eviction happens because someone simply refused to pay. Miss Carter explained that domestic violence, financial hardship, and losing access to her money all contributed to falling behind on rent. While the judge expressed sympathy and explained possible legal aid options, the court still had to apply the law. In eviction cases, personal hardships can provide context, but they don't always change the legal outcome.
$135.71.
Okay. That's good. Good afternoon, Mr. Ulrey.
Good afternoon.
Ms. Emerson said this is about non-payment. So is $2,545 correct as the monthly rent?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. And then she says there is January and now prorated for February. Also correct?
That's correct.
All right, Mr. Ulrey, with that, landlord would win their case today. Can I answer any questions for you? Any information all that we can provide? This is your opportunity. We want to give it to you.
Yeah, so just if I am able to come up with January and February, how long do I have to come up with that?
I'll give you the legal answer, and then Ms. Emerson, if you want to, as the landlord, share
Right.
anything from the plaintiff's side, you certainly can't. Mr. Ulrey, I'll say that legally, even if you had all the money, the landlord can actually take the money and still make you leave. They can still evict you because it wasn't paid on time. Now,
Right.
having said that, the landlord is completely at their own option to decide whether or not they wish to accept the payment and then contact me in non-suit or have me, it's called a set aside. That can only happen in the next 5 days. So Ms. Hammerson, occasionally do I have this. Parties have had no other issues with each other. The money comes through, maybe there's a gap of some sort. So if the landlord decided to accept in full, by the end of day 5, they could notify me and say, Judge, we want to vacate, and we would essentially just set aside the judgment against you. And people find that to be useful. If
Okay,
you don't do that, or if they don't agree, you can appeal. It may still end up in an eviction in a higher court. That's just information, right? So
Okay.
you can.
So
All right.
basically, is it the same as everyone else? So 5 days?
That's right.
Okay.
It starts tomorrow, day 1. You have 5 days. Day 6 is when the landlord has the right to writ of possession if there's no appeal been taken. If parties come to some other agreement, y'all got to let me know by the end of day 5, right? If you call me on
Okay.
day
And that
8,
is,
it's already late for me.
and business days, so it doesn't include Saturday and Sunday. So I got
No, it is calendar days.
Oh, it's calendar days. Okay.
It's calendar days, and that's an important distinction, Mr. Ulrich.
Yeah,
Now,
definitely.
if day 5, and this is where people hate lawyers, if the 5th day falls on a weekend or a holiday or a day the court closes early, you get until the next day. And that's why I'm not allowed to tell you what date you have. I have to just give you that weird calculation.
Sure. Okay.
All right. So
Thank you.
those are great questions, and I'm happy to answer them. And so then, judgment for the plaintiff, 3635. For either party to appeal, it would be 1 month of rent because you're only at 1 month, so 2545. All right. Good luck to everyone. All parties are excused. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and good questions, Mr. Ulrich. That helps other parties.
Great. Thanks.
And Mr. McCormick, why is this eviction sought?
It's my father's house, and the house is in probate, and I have to sell the house to pay for the probate process. So I've moved out of the house, and I need everybody else to go. It's nothing personal. It's just that's what I have to get done.
All right, Mr. McCormick, you needed to sell the house. It's not a reason to evict someone. So what's the grounds you have
Well,
for eviction? Have they breached a lease in some way?
There's no lease.
there's no lease.
All right, Mr. McCormick, are the defendants currently residing in the house?
I guess so. I don't know.
Mr. McCormick, you're here telling me that you need to evict someone because they're at the residence. If you don't know if they're in residence, then I think I'm gonna have to dismiss the case.
They're at the residence, yes,
Okay. How long
And
have they
they're-
been living there?
for over a year.
Did they have a lease with the owner of the home?
No,
How did they come to have residence there?
they asked me if they could stay there.
Okay. Were you the owner of the home?
My father is.
Did your father give them permission to move in?
No, ma'am. He's
Passed away.
he passed away.
Was that last year when they moved in? Was he already deceased?
Yes, he was.
Okay. When did probate begin?
Probate began a couple months ago.
So your dad died, you were living there, you just let them move in with you.
Yes.
The agreement was to pay the
Ms.
bill.
Cockrell, you are not
Sorry.
required to speak at all. He's got to prove he's got a case.
Okay.
Mr. McCormick, so you allowed them to move in. At the time you had them move in, was there an agreement that they had to pay rent?
Rent was if they paid the bills, the electric and the water bill, then they could stay in the guest room.
So no rent, they were going to cover utilities.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Was there a written agreement about how long this arrangement was going to last?
No, ma'am.
All right. Was it just oral? Then y'all talked about them moving in and it was kind of
Yes,
indefinite?
ma'am.
All right. Have you given them a written notice telling them that you no longer wish them to be tenants?
I gave them a 3-day notice to vacate.
Oh, okay. You gave them a notice to vacate, and how much time did you give them?
3 days.
Is that the only type of notice you've given them?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Mr. McCormick, you haven't properly ended the lease with the tenants. And I can't give you any legal advice, but I would say please look into how to end what is otherwise a month-to-month tenancy with the defendants. Because you cannot just tell them they have 3 days to leave. That is improper. There are other things you must do when you have what I would deem a month-to-month tenancy without a requirement for rent to be paid. They have to pay the utilities, but that's not quite the same thing. There is a method for you to do that, especially if you are now the executor and you're going through probate for your dad's estate. But just telling them they have 3 days to leave is insufficient. And as a result, today it's going to be judgment with defendant. You can appeal my decision. You can also research how to end a lease or do anything you like. Okay, Mr. McCormick?
Okay.
You got to give them a different type of notice than that.
Okay, cool.
All right. All right. We'll call insufficient notice on that one. I put the appeal bond at $250. All parties are excused. Again, everyone take a look at what happens if you have that kind of situation. There are ways to get there for everyone, but it's got to be different than that, Mr. McCormick. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to everyone. All parties are excused. Thank you all very much. Ms. Carcos, how about this case?
This is failure to pay rent. Rent is $13.22 a month. He owes $1,119.19 for November, the full amount for December and January, and the prorated for February for a total of $4,329.76 in back rent through today. A 30-day notice to vacate or notice to pay was given on November 26th. It was posted outside of his door and mailed. We're seeking back rent, court costs, and possession, and there's no subsidy.
All right. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for being with us. Ms. Carcos says, as all the other cases I've had today are about non-payment. Well, I think we had one that wasn't, but most of them are about non-payment. Is it correct that the monthly rent is $1,322?
I'm so sorry, Judge. It cut out for a second. I apologize.
That's fine, Mr. Sorrellis. My first question was, is it correct that the monthly rent is $1,322?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
Okay. Ms. Carcos says that there was a partial payment made in November and a balance outstanding, and that December, January, and February have remained unpaid. Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, well, Mr. Sorrellis, with that information, as I've said to others today, landlord wins their case. This is your chance, though. If you have questions, you want to give me information, you have an opportunity to speak, and if you get to be heard today.
Yes, ma'am. So I fell behind as I lost my job. I was the property manager for South Lamar Village. I was the property manager for it. I was battling some very severe mental health issues, and I've been in and out of the hospital, as well as a domestic violence case. I still have three lawsuits open with that. And I know you don't need to hear all the details, but that kind of it really got me behind mentally, and my ability to perform as an adult kind of definitely fell on the wayside. And it's been very hard trying to catch up at this moment. I am working doubles right now at a part-time job that I have, and an additional job at the server and an assistant GM at a bar as well, trying to get caught up. But I just haven't been able to do so successfully.
Mrs. Sorrellis, right now you strike me as being very mature and taking responsibility for the situation. Right? You've acknowledged everything. You said you had a moment, you're trying to work through it and find yourself in a better spot. 2 thumbs up. I get people who refuse to acknowledge any mistakes or moments in life where they've found themselves kind of off the path. Getting back on is something you can do, and strike me that you're going to. Let me give you information today then, right? And you've got some time in planning, so it's not like it's an immediate thing, but use this as part of that going on. Today, the judgment is, as requested from Ms. Carcos, it's going to be $4,329. So that's what's remaining from November, all December, all January, and then 12 days for February. If either party wants to appeal, I'll put that at twice the rent. Since there's a balance still from November, it would be $26.44. Mr. Sorrellis, you have at least 5 calendar days beginning tomorrow. If you want to appeal, you can't afford it. It may be that you can't afford it because of your work situation. You could qualify potentially to appeal for free. And this is always the caveat. If you want to stay in the apartment, though, while the case is pending, and it will be heard within 21 days by the county court, you'd have to pay $13.22 for February, and then in March on the 1st, you have to pay it again. Okay?
Understood.
That's just information. You have 5 days to decide what you'd like to do, and we're going to send you all that as well.
Okay.
All right, any questions?
Across these hearings, one message stands out. Every eviction case has a different story. Some involve foreclosure, others unpaid rent, job loss, family emergencies, or even procedural mistakes by landlords. While judges may show compassion and explain legal options, their decisions must ultimately follow the law and the evidence presented in court. If you enjoyed this courtroom breakdown, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more real courtroom cases and legal analysis.